Yo guys, what's going on? It's Lewis with Crypto Elite, and I'm going to make a market update video right now going over the charts, looking at the technical analysis of Bitcoin and a bunch of other cryptocurrencies, because we definitely have to do this after what happened the other day with Bitcoin with the fake ETF news. So you're probably aware, but Bitcoin has an ETF coming out. When this ETF comes out, it really should skyrocket the price of Bitcoin, and we actually saw that when the ETF news came out saying that it was actually approved, and that spiked the price of Bitcoin up double digits. But unfortunately it was false. It was a rumor, and so as soon as people figured out that it wasn't real, then the price tanked. But the price actually didn't go all the way back down to where it was previously, so it's still actually up. And maybe this is because people are getting a little bit of FOMO now, thinking, well, this ETF is right around the corner. It's going to be approved, within the next couple months. So might as well just buy now. So a lot of people who were sidelined are probably now thinking, well, I don't want to be sidelined just in case it does actually get approved within the next few weeks or a couple months or something like that. So that is a very bullish case, but I don't really want to look at or I don't really want to use fundamentals so much. I want to really just base a lot of my decisions off of technical analysis. So that's what this video is going to be about. So we're going to go into that. We're going to go over the big market cycle really, really quickly. Well, I'll just do this right now, and then I'll go into the charts. So the first thing that I want to say is that I think that the bottom is in. I was like probably 80% sure that the bottom was in back around here, and now I'm like 95% sure that the bottom isn't. Like, I don't see any way that the bottom is not in, because it's just like this happened with the blow up of FTX. This happened with the blow up of BlockFi and Celsius, and so many scams and so many things actually just literally blowing up and capitulating. So I don't really see how we're going to come all the way back down there. I mean, I was thinking maybe Binance. What if Binance goes down? But first off, I don't think that Binance will go down. And even if it does, I don't think that it'll be some big drastic thing. Of course, no one knows, or no one thinks that anything is going to be some big drastic thing. That's why it's called a black swan. But I really think that there's way too many people with way too much money within Binance that it's just not going to disintegrate and blow up the same way that FTX did. Also, I don't think that they're doing the same type of shady things that FTX did, which means that they'll have a lot more leeway in terms of unwinding if they actually do. But personally, I don't really think that they will. So yeah, we have all of that. And I also say this because I was honestly thinking that after the FTX collapse, there was still something called Grayscale that had a lot. Oh, actually, I don't think it was Grayscale, but I remember it was something with Barry Silbert, and there was a lot of problems. There's a lot of problems, and a lot of money was owed, and a lot of money was missing. And I was like, well, this is still another really big issue, but it seemed to not affect the markets that much. So I was waiting for that, and then after this big ass candle happened, I was like, oh shit, like we better, that was it, like we're not going back down. So that's when I ended up just going in at like 19, but somewhere between 19 and 20. But yeah, if you could think of a reason why we're gonna go even lower, back down to 15 or below, like I'm all ears. But honestly, I just, at this point, I don't see it. Because so much time has already gone by. We've already had 707 days go by since the top, right? And if this big thing that I have on the screen right now is to be true, then this is the bottom, and then that would put the next cycle top around September of 2025, which is very reasonable. But if this wasn't the bottom, and then we get the bottom down here, that would put the, first off, the bottom is always before the halving. The bottom is always before the halving. Look at this. we had the bottom, and then we had the halving, and then we had the top, and then we had the bottom, and then we had the halving, and then we had the top, and then we had the bottom, and then we had the halving, and then we had the top, and then we had the bottom, and then we're coming up to the halving in 6 months, and then we're gonna have the top. So unless we come down and bottom, before or after the halving, at this point, that would completely disregard this really, really accurate assessments and analysis of when the top should be. So yeah, the bottom is in my opinion, 95%, positive about that. And I'm mostly in the market. I want to be at least 90% in. I'll definitely make a video about my overall strategy, and I'm going to, in my VIP, give out all of my all of my investments, all of the different coins that I'm in right now, and my game plans for all of them for my long-term investment account, because as you may or may not know, my strategy is two-pronged, or really three-pronged approach. The first one is to have a trading account, and the second one is to have a long-term investing account, because we all know that long-term investing is really, really, really good. And just like the people who had that long-term investing mindset in Bitcoin back in 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, they most likely outperformed a lot of the traders from that time period, because of the fact that it just went up so much, so exponentially. And same thing for a lot of the altcoins. I was trading Matic back when it was under a penny, and I was trading Dogecoin when it was under a penny, and I was trading all these things. And a lot of them, if I would have just held them, I would have done way, 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 way better. So I definitely have a long-term investing account, but I also have my trading account, because sometimes you will find these really, really good opportunities that just come, maybe once every 3 months, maybe once every 6 months. This year, maybe once every 9 months. And so you have to be, or at least you don't have to be, but I like to be in tune with the market and just being aware of possibilities. And then if I happen to come across something, then I could put a lot of money from my trading account into that opportunity. And if it's really good, then I'll just, I'll put the vast majority of my stuff into it, because that's why I trade. Because if I do that, and then let's say that thing actually does really, really, really well, and let's say that something goes up by 50%, I see an opportunity, I put half of my account into it, and it goes up by, let's say it goes up by 100%, and then I cash out, and then I go back to my normal distribution of things. Well, I just made 50%, I increased my worth of cryptocurrencies by 50%, because I was in the markets and I saw that opportunity and I did it. And I probably won't see those opportunities if I'm just passively, investing and dollar cost averaging only, and I'm only doing that long-term investing thing. So that's why I have my trading account too, because it keeps me primed just in case there happens to be some really, grade A, triple A trades out there. So anyway, let's look and see what Bitcoin's doing and what all these other coins are doing, and then we'll get into it. All right, so let's go into the total market cap. Just looking at the big picture stuff real quick right here. So we got the total. Whoa, that's a lot of shit. So yeah, total market cap looks like it's in a range between here and here, just bouncing up and down. So I'm trying to see if there's anything indicative of what direction it's going in. Right now, it's not smack dab in the middle. This is pretty much smack dab in the middle. But for the total market cap, we had the weekly up move before the down move right here. Yeah, so this is the weekly bearish order block for the total market cap. If we go down to the daily, you could see that hasn't really tapped it. Like this area has been the real area where it's just been getting rejected from. So I do think that it's been showing more upside potential. So I'm more prone to think that we're going to get at least up to here on the total market cap. But I don't see anything like that just pops out, just pops out to me. That's really what I'm looking for when I'm looking at this type of stuff. So all I know is that right up here, 1.26, 1.259, that is huge resistance. So if we do come back up there, I'm definitely going to be selling some. But as of right now, yeah, it looks like that 1 trillion is the number. So yeah, that's the big thing my big takeaway is that the total market cap of cryptocurrencies really wants to stay above $1 trillion. So if it comes back down to $1 trillion, then that would be most likely a good time to buy, considering how there's so many buys around that $1 trillion mark for the total market cap. And also we had the deviation below it, and then just like constant liquidity grab basically, and then bounce. And so maybe we'll come back down again, but no, you can't really tell. And this is like, what are you going to do now based off of this chart? You can't really do anything. You could do something down here. You could do something when it reclaims it. You could do something when it falls back down after the reclaim. Maybe you do something right here. You go down to the lower time frames right here as well. But like this is closer to resistance. It's in the middle. It's not, can't really do anything. So let's move on. What I want to do is go on to the dominance levels. So first off, look at how Bitcoin dominance is dominating. Like Bitcoin is really dominating. That most money is flowing into Bitcoin. Like that's undeniable. You just cannot say otherwise. So Bitcoin was in this huge range for literally since 2021 and all the way up until 2023, just a few months ago. It was in this range, the dominance levels, bouncing back and forth. Finally, Bitcoin dominance broke above it. And when it breaks above this huge range that's been in for 2 years, 2 years plus, then that shows so much strength for Bitcoin. So I would honestly want to be more in Bitcoin than in other cryptocurrencies. And if you look at the dominance levels after 2018, like what happened? So we had the big run up of 2017, and then 2018 started, and that was the bear market basically. And look at what happened. Everything just flew right back into Bitcoin up until 2020. So where's 2020? Right around here. And as soon as the Bitcoin dominance started to fall, that's really when the altcoin season started, is, when Bitcoin dominance started to fall. And really 2021 was the main one. Like this is it. This is the true start of the real bull market, was right here. And so it looks like we have quite a ways to go for this bear market, and I'd want to be in Bitcoin more than anything else, that's for sure. So that's the dominance levels. And this is the altcoin dominance, and you could see altcoin dominance as well, broke below that huge area. It even came back up and retested it, and now it's coming back down. So this is extremely bearish. It's just like super bearish. And, once we hit the 61.8, that's when I'll probably get into alts. So, I said this is most likely the area along. It was back here, but now that we're retesting it, it's no longer the area. And I don't even really want this to be green. I'd rather just have this be nothing. But yeah, this is an area still, but I think that we're gonna touch here, especially look at the weekly. If we close down here on the weekly, that's going to be even worse, because it's going to create a market structure break. On the daily, we're almost there. Today in 1 hour, we're going to create a market structure break below this low right here for the altcoin dominance levels, which will in turn just basically make us go all the way down there. Like, yeah, alts are probably going to get crushed. My theory remains the same as my last cycle, as my last video, which is that altcoins are going to get crushed. So that, and you know, people might say, oh, look at the bullish deviation right here. Yeah, look at this one right here, you know, and what happened? You know, we just went sideways, then we went down. Just because you have a bullish deviation doesn't really mean much. You know, you have to have market structure and the charts, the candlesticks actually telling you what to do as well, telling you what's happening as well. So yeah, I think alts are going to get just decimated. So I would just be in Bitcoin. So yeah, if I'm going to be in anything, I want to be in Bitcoin, or I'll look at coins that maybe might have an opportunity to surpass Bitcoin. So that's the total market cap and the dominance levels. Looking at the dollar, I think the dollar should come up here. I want the dollar to come up to right here before heading much lower, but it did. Let's check the daily chart. Yeah, it did put in this you know, bearish market structure right here for the first time. It did it back here as well, but I would say just based off the charts, let's go to 12-hour. Is there something right here? Up move for the down move right there. Well, it's actually bullish because this right here should have been rejected, but look at how strong the dollar was right there. So this is still bullish because it should have come, like technically it should have come up to like this area right around here and then gotten rejected from it, and then like fell below it, but it went above it, it closed above it, and now it's within it. I mean, if it closes down here, if it goes further, you know, further down, then yeah, that'll probably be more bearish, and that might be the end of the uptrend, and it might start going down, you know, and come all the way back down here. But as of now, I still think there's a possibility for it to come back up here. So that's the dollar. Let's look at the stock market. By the way, I'm probably going to start trading futures. So I did look at the stock market, and there are these things called the ES1 or MES1, the micro E-mini or mini S&P 500 index. So you could actually trade futures contracts on the, not actually, I'm saying this as if like, oh, you could actually do it. Like, it's pretty obvious, but you could trade the S&P 500, you could trade the NASDAQ, you could trade these index funds with, you know, basically unlimited liquidity. And it's different than crypto. It's definitely different than crypto, the way that they do it. They do it by pips and or by ticks. And so you have to learn it, but it's definitely something that I'm looking into, and I'm probably going to open up an account somewhere to trade these futures contracts, because it just seems like the stock market is much cleaner, it's much easier, and there's, I don't know if you could say less manipulation, but it's another asset to trade, and why not? You know, if you did that in 2018 and 2019, when the crypto markets were going down, you know, drastically, the stock market, if my computer wants to work, the stock market actually went up. So it's definitely something to look into, and it's something that I'm going to be looking into, and I'll probably start trading these future contracts within maybe, I'll say, a month. So that's just something that I wanted to share. So yeah, we have that. Let's look at go back to the actual, you know, the actual stock market. Computer's being a little slow right now, but we have this head and shoulders pattern. So right now we're getting right now it is retesting the neckline of the head and shoulders pattern, and I think that it's going to come down here. Like, I still think it's going to hit 4,200. So this is the retest. I don't think that this was the it's tough to say because look at this candle. This is such a bullish candle. So yeah, in this situation, it's like, do you trust the Head and Shoulders, or do you trust this giant, really super bullish looking candle down there? That's the question. And especially because it already, came down at least a little bit. I would say continue to trust the Head and Shoulders pattern until the stop loss is hit. And in this case, what you do is you put the stop loss above the right shoulder. And so you put the stop loss right there. And then you target down here. So I'm still targeting 4,200. We'll see what happens. Typically, I'm just going to call this I'm just going to say that this is like a retest of this neckline right here. And yeah, I mean, it's going to take a while because this is pretty far up and this is pretty far down. So based off of the Head and Shoulders pattern that this is on, that this trade is has been taken on, which was taken, basically right here, basically where we are, that is gonna take a long time to recover. So or to not to recover, but to play out. Anyway, we have the stock market. I still think the stock market is gonna be going down, but it's anyone's guess. It's anyone's guess at this point because of just how insanely bullish this weekly candle was right there, So we'll have to see. But we're not really looking for the stock market. What we're looking for is Bitcoin. So let's go into Bitcoin. Okay, so now that we basically established that Bitcoin is the better play for the foreseeable future, I'm going to look at Bitcoin now. So what's going on with Bitcoin? Well, let's take a look at this. We have the low, and then we have a high. We have a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low. So this is what's troubling right here. Look at this. This is the close of this right here is 25,915. Oh, and you could see very clearly right there that this closed underneath of that. So even though this was bullish down here, it was very bullish down here, the fact that we had this market structure break on the weekly time frame is actually bearish. So what does that mean? What should you look for? You should look for the area higher up that has the highest probability of getting rejected from. So on this chart, that is this right here. This right here is the weekly bearish order block, and that is at 29,000. And the daily bearish order block, if we go to the daily, is right here, which is at 29,300. So it makes a lot of sense to start stacking in short position, or to start looking for short setups right around here. And if the price comes up here and starts putting in bearish price action, maybe we get a couple wicks, long wicks to the upside or something, then I would short it, and I would short it probably back down to at least here, looking for something, whatever I could get, but something like this. I believe that I posted, or that I put something on this. Yes, I did. So something right around here. Now, is the price going to come back up here again? It might. I think that it has a possibility of doing that. Let's go back to this chart. I like this chart better. So my thing is that on the weekly time frame, as I showed you, we had the bearish market structure break, right? On the weekly time frame because it closed lower than the previous week, right? Then on the daily time frame, we had this swing failure pattern, or first this SFP and then this SFP. So I could delete these, but we had these and it became bullish. And then as soon as it, reclaimed this area right here, that was pretty good to go long. And you could also have gone down into, a lower time frame and said this right here is the down move before the up move that broke the market structure right there, which means that this is the bullish order block. And you would have put a little box right there and said, okay, we got the SFP and we got the reclaim, then we got the move up. And this right here is the bullish order block. So if it comes back down, I'm going to get long, boom, come back down, get long, target highs above this high. So probably right around here, if not right here, get long, and then close out your long position right here. Look for the next, the next setup. That probably would have been this right here. So that would have been this bullish order block, the down move before the up move that broke this market structure, right? So it comes down here, you get long right up in here, and you just you wouldn't have gotten stopped out because these were only wicks, and now it makes a higher high. What do? You target a new high, so somewhere above here. So it's still in an uptrend, right here, micro uptrend, macro downtrend. So boom, higher high, higher low, higher low, higher low, and now it's coming up. I think that's going to come up, and then let's say it comes up here. Is this going to be the top before it comes back down and makes a higher low, and then continues the uptrend, or is it's gonna just do something totally different and just come all the way up here first, and then continue that big macro downtrend that we saw in the weekly time frame? That's the question, right? So I would think that right here, not I would think, like based off my technical analysis, this area right here at 29,000 to 30,000, specifically between 29 and 29.8, is the optimal shorting area. So I'm going to put some alerts in so that the VIP members could get alerted when it comes in here. And then when it does hit that area, I'm going to look for possible shorts. One thing that I do see right now, though, is that we had this really, really nice move up followed by this ascending triangle. So we're hitting resistance consistently and we are making higher lows. So that is a bullish formation on the 1 hour chart. So you could technically put on a trade where you buy right here. It's close enough to the apex where it makes sense. And if the price comes down and closes underneath this trend line, then it will invalidate the triangle and you can actually just simply, exit your trade for a small loss. So if you're going by the books of traditional technical analysis, you could simply do this, and this would be the trade setup. So I think that this is a good enough trade setup to put on and risk, 1%. So I could actually put my entire balance into this trade because it's less than the stop is less than 1% away, and hopefully make 2% on my account. And technically, should actually target up here, but I would just target here because it's I don't want to try to get too greedy with things. But yeah, this is a technical analysis traditional trade setup, and let me just check if there's any confluence with the RSI or stochastic and MACD. Well, okay, MACD is looking pretty decent. The RSI is looking fairly decent as well. So nothing too crazy. So yeah, I think I'll try this out, try this out for size, see what happens with this ascending triangle pattern. Okay, so we got the ascending triangle pattern for Bitcoin coming up into the resistance, and then I will look for shorts once it comes up in here. So that's Bitcoin. So now let's move on to Ethereum, which, you know, I've mentioned. I think that Bitcoin is the play. Oh man, look at that rejection. That's so bad. So let's look at Bitcoin on the weekly time frame real quick. See what's going on. If there's anything. I don't know where all of my... There you go. There's my stuff. So, yeah. I mean, what to say. Damn. Look at that. Weekly bearish breaker right here. Down move for the up move that broke the market structure. Came right back into it. Tapped it. Slammed back down. Came right back into it. Tapped it. Slammed back down. And it had another bearish market structure shift on the weekly time frame. So, yeah, same thing. Except it looks like, I don't know if we're going to get a move up for Ethereum. But yeah, Ethereum just looks absolutely shattered. So Ethereum looks terrible because there was a bearish market structure break right there. And it's not... and it had that huge rejection, you know, so far in the week. So let's see if there's anything that we could do. Check it out on this chart. Zoom in. All right. So weekly bear. Yeah, this was a major SR level. It was the weekly bearish market structure break. Major weekly bearish breaker. It was all of this shit. So right here, but this was a few weeks ago. So what do we have now, basically? So basically need to see some bullish price action around here, around this area, 1500, 1476, basically. Let's go to the lower time frames, check it out, see what we see here. Yeah, broke below this trend line, this super long trend line. As soon as it broke below it, that was in one day, you know, only took one day. That's the way these market makers work. It's like they know people are waiting to see for this trend line to break. So as soon as it breaks, like literally, they don't give you time. There's no time. It would be amazing if this was like this right there, and then this one broke. Like, see how it went below it, and then there was that major dump? Yeah, that would be great. But then these wouldn't be on the bottoms of these wicks, and this wouldn't be on the bottom of this wick, and these wouldn't be on the bottom of this. So it wouldn't make as much sense as to putting it right there, because you see that now it's closer to the bottom of these wicks, and so it just matches better. And so they know this. So they know there's this people have this huge trend line here, and they're like, oh, look, you're gonna buy it. So they dump the price so hardcore, and by the time they do that, it's so far down that what are you going to do? You can't short it because it's so far down already. You have to wait for something. You have to wait for some type of retest. And so, I mean, but then this thing starts happening. You're like, oh shit, it's just going to keep on dumping. So then, yeah, this makes total sense. Looking at this, I'm picturing like what I would think, and I would think, okay, I want to sell if it closes below this line, and it closes on the line, and then the very next day slams down, and then I'm like, okay, well, I need to wait for a retrace. So then I would say I would keep on holding, and then I would see this bearish pattern happening right here, and I'd be like, oh shit, I should probably sell, and then I'd probably just sell it, and then the price jumps up in one day, and I'll be like, oh damn it, so I better buy back. So then I'll buy back, and then it slams back down, and I would just get so annoyed. Like, it would just be constant. Yeah, I could totally see how the market makers are manipulating this in order to catch retail traders off guard like this. It's crazy. Let's go down to the 12-hour. Maybe. See, and this right here, this is why I love using the 12-hour instead of the daily, because everyone uses the daily. You know, a lot of people use the daily charts, but use the 12-hour and check it out. You would have seen this close before this giant move down. So you could have seen this closed, immediately entered into a short position right here. Yeah, that's actually this is a perfect short position right underneath all of this big SR level, both horizontal and diagonal. It closes right there. Damn, why did I not do that? Put on the short, stop goes right there, target the lows right there. Boom. That's so good. Anyway, now what are we looking at here for Ethereum on the 12-hour? Well, not much. Not much. That's all I could say. What did they got planned for you? Not much. So, yeah, I mean, even on this one, we got this close below here. So what do? You wait for a move up to look for some place to short. This right here was this was the move. Yeah, this was the move right here. Up move, but for the down move that broke the market structure, the previous market structure right there and right there. So this is where you would look for shorts. It really just wicked in there. You only had a minute, so no one really caught that. But yeah, that was it. And now I'm like looking at Ethereum, it's like this should technically continue to move down. This is a downward chart. So I would assume the price is just going to keep on dumping, to be honest. I would assume the price is going to keep on dumping. That, however, does not go into my thesis that Bitcoin will come up into this area right first, right? What I just did for Bitcoin. I want Bitcoin to move up. And so if Ethereum moves down, I don't think Bitcoin is going to be moving up, right? So what's another thing that we could look at? 4 hour. We could look at the 4 hour. It could technically come up. Could technically, this is a bullish market structure, bullish order block. Could technically come up to here. I don't know if that'll give us enough room for Bitcoin to move up again, but it could technically do this, before just heading back down. But I don't know. I am really not liking the looks of Ethereum right now. And I would say I would just wait until it reaches the 61.8 of this move up. Yeah, I would wait until it reaches here, and then that's when I would look for longs. So let me put this like this. Actually, right here's a great, this is the area. I think that it's going to bounce from 1500. I think 1500 is the area that I would look to go long. So I'll put this in here, something like this, right? And I'll, say this needs to go over here, and I'll look for something along these lines, right? But once it comes down here, that's when I would look for something. I don't want to look for anything until this happens. It just doesn't look good, So I'll wait until the price comes down into this area, and then I'll go into the lower time frames and I'll look for some bullish type of setups. I think right there. Yeah. And I think that this is where it's going to be bouncing from, because this is a very big support area, and it sort of needs to bounce from this area to have any hope of some type of bullishness. Because if we go back, you could see major support, major support, major support, major support, and this was the fake out. So if it goes back down to the fake out levels, it seems like, okay, the smart money faked everyone out, and then they just distributed up here, and now they're ready to send it to the depths of hell. So yeah, I'm gonna wait until this comes down, but I do like this looking. I do like the looks of this trade right here. Here's the lows, here's the highs, just based off of this previous range. Seems good to me. So yeah. The only no, never mind. I was gonna see if that was some type of head and shoulders, but it's not. So, yeah, I would play this range, which is the same as this range on the left when it comes to Ethereum. Now, what I want to do though is look at Ethereum against Bitcoin. Now, if you've been paying attention, you've been seeing me talk about this level for Bitcoin against Ethereum for a long time, ever since Ethereum was all the way up here against Bitcoin, right? So this is it. This is it. It needs to, if it doesn't bounce off of this 200 MA, Ethereum is done. Ethereum is donezo. It has to bounce from here because this has to be the second deviation. If it's not, then it's pretty much over for alts, for Ethereum, for everybody. So yeah, things are gonna, it sucks because it's been such a long time already, and you would just think like, oh, it's time for a good, nice little rally. But I guess we've had our rallies. I guess 2023, the beginning of 2023 was, the first half was the rally. And now it's just really looking like crap. But things look worse before they actually move up, right? Hopium. Yeah. It really just seems like Bitcoin's the only one worth getting into. However, you can't if this is bad. This is really, really bad, right? But if Ethereum closes underneath here, then underneath yesterday, then that's really bad. But there's very little hope. Yeah, there's very, very little hope right now. Sorry. It's not looking good. I need to see some bullish price action on Ethereum against Bitcoin, or else this is just looking like it's going down. And by down, I mean real down. Like Bitcoin's going to outperform by a lot. Okay, so that was Ethereum. Depressing, right? Now, I want to go over Doge and maybe Solana. So Dogecoin is in my accumulation zone. And this is the only one that I am accumulating, and it has nothing to do, well, nothing to do with technicals, because it is in the technical area of the accumulation zone, but this has a lot more to do with me thinking that Elon Musk is going to announce that X.com is going to allow payments for cryptocurrencies, and that Dogecoin is going to obviously be a big contributor. And I think that when he does do that the price will, skyrocket at least up to here, at least a nice 30% of that move. So I am accumulating down here. And this is like one of those fundamental plays, one of those fingers crossed type of deals. When you look at the Bitcoin charts for Doge, or Doge against Bitcoin, this is where I do want to be buying it. I do want to be buying it right around here, any time within this, honestly, 15-16% area below this low. So typically we get a drop below the low, like here's the low, right? Get the drop below it. This was a 14-15% drop below. Actually, let me just do it from there to there. 15 to 16% drop below the previous low. And then we had a nice rally, which was a pretty solid, if this wants to work, which is a pretty solid 41% rally, right? So this is the new low, right here. So I'm thinking that maybe it'll drop 15% below this low, which will be right around here. And then I would want to buy it right here, and a little bit above it, a little bit at it, and maybe a little bit below it, thinking that it's going to spike up again, at least against Bitcoin, give me at least 20%, a 20% bonus, against Bitcoin. So that's what I'm waiting for. you know, unless this is the last time that this happens, you know. But if I just look back at history for the past, since June 2021, this was the low. It swept the lows, and then it popped up, you know, and then here's the low, swept the low. This took quite a long time before it actually popped up, but it still did end up popping up. This one swept the low, and then it popped up, and right there, here sweeps the low, right there, pops up. Here's the low, here's the sweep of the low, pops up. So yeah, it just, like, you know, continually does that. Even right here, sweeps the low and then pops up. So I'm thinking right here, sweeps the low, a long consolidation before popping up. But if you get in at the sweep of the low, it pretty much, once it breaks down, tends to be a good area. So I'm hoping that it's going to do it again. And I'm betting, you know, Bitcoin on this. So fingers crossed. But yeah, that's Dogecoin. That's why I'm into Dogecoin. I like the fundamental play behind it. We'll see what happens. We'll see if it works out. If it does, that'll be great, because I will increase my Bitcoin holdings, which is exactly what I want to do. And then for Doge against you know, the dollar or USDT, right here's the bullish order block, the down move for the up move that broke the market structure. So this is, let me put this on right there. Let me click here, do this, and then extend this to the right. All right, if it wants to work with me. So there you go. Then extend this like this. Got to zoom in a little bit. And this is the weekly bullish order block right there. So this is the best time, in my opinion, to be buying. It's like right down there. This whole area is a nice solid, yeah, it's a real nice solid area. This whole area. So between 5 cents and basically between 5 cents and 6 cents, it's looking good to me. Plus it's all this major support, you know, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's Doge. Then the last one I want to look at is Solana, because Solana is actually one of the ones that is doing okay against Bitcoin. Not a lot of coins are doing well against Bitcoin, right? But Solana is in the green. You can't see it, but it's in the green. So I said if it comes back down to this area, this is where I would want to get in. But it looks like it already has had the pump back up. But it's at a major, yeah, this is a major resistance area. So I definitely don't want to be buying just because of how big of a resistance area this is on the weekly. I mean, you could tell pretty easily right there, right? So then go down to the daily chart. I'm trying to see here. What's it look like on the daily chart? Looks like we had this. Is this a bear flag? Bull flag? No, this came down a little bit too far to be a bull flag. But did this hit the 61.8 and then jump up? Let's check. Let's check if it did. All right, bottom to top right there, 61.8. Basically hit the 61.8, and I don't even take it from long wicks. I would take it from right here, which would be the exact 61.8. So yeah, looks like it. Which is, oh damn, this was actually a good trade. 61.8 plus the support zone right there, plus the. See, this is what I need. This is what I look for, but I don't see it very often, which is stuff like this. All right, bullish OB right there. Go to the 12-hour. So this right here was a nice move up, and then we have the 61.8 from the bottom to the top. 61.8 is right there. It's within the bullish order block. If you see this, that's really good. So I'd buy here. Stop goes right there. Very easy. That's what I need to be looking for. Let's see if there's anything else. What other thing went up? Well, Matic went up against Bitcoin. How's Matic doing? Not the best. So basically, Basically, I think I just want to accumulate more Bitcoin, and I'll look for some good setups. If I could see good setups, then I'll get them. I'll get in on them. But for the most part, because the odds aren't in my favor, I don't want to be forcing stuff, I don't want to be forcing things, because why force trades when you could just, sit on your hands, not lose any money, and then when the market becomes very favorable and the conditions are very favorable for you, then it's like, oh, you're good. You can make so much money, but you need to have that dry capital. You need to have that dry powder in order to capitalize on the markets when they are just going ham. So that's really what I want to do right now, considering the dominance level and how Bitcoin is just like really just absolutely tearing everything else apart. And actually, given that, what I need to do is I need to look at my long-term portfolio and make my video on this, because I might need to get rid of my optimism and a few other things, depending. Well, I don't know if I really want to. Well, actually, let's see. It still has another 6%. That's really not that much. I should have gotten rid of it up here, but whatever. It is what it is. So I already told you I got rid of my quant. I believe it was $90 when I did that. So it's not down that much from it, but yeah, I would rather just try to stack some Bitcoin and look for potential opportunities in the market that make more sense, or at least wait until things come down to like their really good value zones. I want them to come down to their value zones first, and then that's when I would get in. So let me get rid of this. Anyway, I think I'm going to end this here. So thank you so much for watching. I'm going to end this here. Then I'm going to go through more charts. I'm going to continue working on my course. I'm going to make that investment video, and then probably eat something. As you can tell, I'm on a treadmill. I've been doing a treadmill desk, been walking. So that's basically been my workouts. Been working out for like 4 hours a day, like stretching, and then just stretching and doing these like exercises for my back, because I hurt my back. And now I'm walking because my doctor told me to not sit. He said, do not sit down. So I'm pretty much walking for like 10 hours, like all day while I'm on my computer. It's great. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Thanks for watching.